Have you ever wondered why your belly feels bloated with gas after eating? Maybe the reason isn't just the food. What if constant gas isn't due to overeating, but a sign of hidden problems? What is your gut hiding, and how can you get rid of gas? Maybe the key to eliminating gas is right under your nose, and you're simply missing the right information. Even plain water can cause gas in your intestines, not just cabbage or garlic. Let's explore the lesser-known causes of gas in older adults, and you'll finally be able to get rid of uncomfortable bloating for good. Today you'll finally learn, why does plain water cause bloating? How to deflate your belly and calm your gut in just 2 minutes. What comes first, constipation from gas or gas from constipation? Which seemingly harmless habits make gas worse? What secret ingredient can collapse trapped gas inside? Which common medications increase gas? What should you chew after meals to prevent gas? Which drink suppresses gas formation? And finally, how to make gas odorless. And our expert will explain which serious condition increased gas after age 60 may indicate, and name a remedy that helps normalize gut function. So, are you ready to learn the whole truth about your gut and gas, and finally free yourself from discomfort? Let's get started. First question, what causes gas? Anything can cause gas, even plain water. Everyone knows sparkling water can cause bloating, but did you know that still water can cause bloating in some people too, especially when it's cold? That's because cold drinks trigger spasms. Here's how it works. You drink cold water. The cold causes spasms in the stomach and intestinal muscles. These spasms interfere with normal digestion. Poor digestion due to spasms leads to fermentation. And there you go, gas, seemingly out of nowhere. After age 60, the intestines often stop functioning the way they should. And one of two things happens. Either your gut rumbles and you pass too much gas, or you feel bloated and the gas gets trapped inside, unable to escape. Let's figure out why this happens, because only by understanding the cause of gas can you find the right solution. You need to know what's happening inside your body. Too often we blame carbs, but the real reason might be chewing gum. Yes, really. 25% of people who complain about gas experience it due to excess sorbitol, the sweetener found in chewing gum. If you chew gum after meals, or your kids or grandkids do, take note of this, and hit like if you didn't know. Sorbitol, which causes gas, is also found in some liquid medications, like syrups, as well as in many sugar-free candies and diet foods. That's why we recommend reading product labels carefully. But what about the remaining 75% of cases? Where does your gas come from? Let's figure it out. Let's start with a common issue. Severe bloating without passing gas. It causes tension, stretches the smooth muscles, and leads to noticeable pain. So why doesn't the gas come out? We asked our expert. To help us understand gas issues, we turn to nutritionist Natalia Sergeyevna Shulga. As we age, intestinal peristalsis becomes significantly weaker. Just like our muscles grow frail over time, the same process occurs in the intestines, making it harder for them to push food waste through and eliminate it from the body. So, how do you help gas escape? We found a technique to quickly relieve discomfort and reduce bloating. It's a simple but effective yoga pose that not only relaxes the abdominal area, but also helps release trapped gas from the intestines. Here's how to do it properly. 1. Start by kneeling and sitting back on your heels. This gives you a stable base. 2. Slowly lean forward, stretching your arms out in front of you. Try to touch your forehead to the floor. If you can't, no worries. 3. Try to fully relax. Breathe deeply and steadily. Feel your belly fill with air on the inhale and let go of tension on the exhale. And don't hold back. Let the gas out. Not resisting the urge to release gas is rule number 1 for gut health. As for how to reduce gas odor, we'll get to that shortly. But first, another pose to help gas pass. You can also lie on your back and pull your knees toward your stomach. Gently press on your belly and rock side to side. This pose is well known, and it really helps release gas. But if you're constipated, it probably won't help. As we age, the digestive system slows down, making it harder to empty the bowels. Constipation leads to gas getting trapped. Sure, we all know that. But did you know that constipation not only traps gas, it also causes new gas to form? Let me explain. When stool sits in the intestines for too long, it starts to ferment. Yes, you heard that right. When it remains in place, gut bacteria continue to act on it, changing its composition. The stool stays, but the bacteria keeps working, producing various gases like carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane, the very gas that causes unpleasant odors. On top of that, fermentation also produces toxic substances that trigger inflammation and discomfort in the intestines. And of course, the more gas, the greater the pressure in the intestines. So, if you want to get rid of gas, start by normalizing your bowel movements and eliminating constipation. How to normalize bowel movements? We talked about this in one of our previous videos. I won't repeat everything, just a quick reminder of the 2 key factors for regular bowel movements in older adults: enough water and enough movement. All processes in our body occur with the help of fluids. Water is the foundation of homeostasis, that is, the intercellular exchange. When the body lacks water, digestion becomes inefficient, and food remnants turn into dense masses. If we want to stimulate the process of defecation and get rid of constipation, it is absolutely essential to drink 30 to 40 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight daily. It's believed that drinking water before meals is another way to reduce gas. First, everyone knows that drinking before eating helps you eat less, which means less strain on your intestines. And second, water prepares your stomach to receive food, helping digestion and reducing the likelihood of excess gas. However, some nutritionists and doctors believe that drinking during or after meals is not ideal, as it dilutes digestive juices and interferes with digestion. You've probably heard this. Let's find out what our expert thinks. Which approach is best for managing gas? It is not only allowed, but necessary to drink water during meals. However, it's even more effective to drink water before eating, as this helps concentrate digestive enzymes and initiate the breakdown of everything that enters the stomach. Still, water is also essential during meals, and by water, we mean pure water, not tea, coffee, or juice. Water is absorbed by the body quickly. As it flows along the grooves of the stomach lining, it enters the body even while we are chewing and swallowing food. Water plays a vital role in helping nutrients from food get properly absorbed. Scientific studies show adequate water intake improves intestinal motility and reduces the risk of constipation, which, in turn, helps prevent gas. So let's assume the timing of drinking water, before, during, or after meals, isn't as important as we might think. What matters most is maintaining proper hydration, which is essential for healthy digestion. Do you know how much water you actually drink? Track your intake in a food journal, which we mentioned earlier today. It'll help you understand whether you're hitting your daily water target or not. Did you know that in the Middle Ages, bloating was thought to be caused by an excess of moisture in the body? People believed that too much fluid displaced air. Doctors at the time used a variety of treatments, one of which was warming herbs. It was believed that herbs like ginger, cinnamon, and anise helped disperse moisture and improve digestion. These herbs not only eased symptoms, but also brought a sense of warmth and comfort. We'll definitely talk more about herbs and folk remedies for gas later. So let's remember, to digest food without gas, drink plenty of water. Doctors all emphasize hydration. But you know what they don't often mention? That some prescription medications can actually cause bloating and gas in older adults. Let's recall, what medications are you currently taking? Your gas might be a side effect you weren't even aware of. Let's find out right now. Which medications can disturb your gut? First on the list, antibiotics. They cause gas, not directly, but because they disrupt your gut microbiome. That's why whenever you take antibiotics, you should also take probiotics or eat foods rich in lactobacilli or bifidobacteria. Second, pain relievers and anti-inflammatory drugs. Many NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs prescribed for joint or back pain, can irritate the digestive tract and contribute to bloating. Third on our blacklist, medications for diabetes. Some of them can cause digestive issues and bloating. If you started having gas after beginning treatment, talk to your doctor. It may be possible to switch to another medication since the pharmaceutical market offers many options. And since we're talking about diabetes, let me ask, are you interested in learning about a treatment approach in theory suggesting that type 2 diabetes can be reversed? Tell us in the comments. Meanwhile, let's continue with the list. Fourth, blood pressure medications. Same story as with diabetes meds. Some of them slow down the intestines and cause gas. Tell your doctor about the bloating so they can help you find a better alternative. Fifth troublemaker, iron supplements, often prescribed for anemia. As beneficial as iron is, it can cause constipation. And as you now know, constipation leads to gas buildup. Start a food and medication journal and record when you take essential medications, starting with any bloating or discomfort. This journal can be a helpful tool at your doctor's appointment. It's one thing to suspect that meds don't suit you, it's another to show a clear link between taking them and experiencing gas. On the Health and Longevity channel, we share healthy habits that help improve your well-being. And we're curious, are you using them? Are our tips helping you? Write in the comments now, and let us know what's bothering you, what questions you want answered. We'll make new helpful videos just for you. And now, let's talk about a cause of gas that most people ignore. We all know the rules of healthy eating. Eat less fried and starchy food, avoid fast carbs, and add more protein. But for older adults with excess gas, that might not be the real issue. So, what is? A lack of digestive enzymes. In around 5 out of 10 cases, excessive gas is caused by an enzyme deficiency. Here's the thing, whatever isn't properly digested causes bloating, even normal foods. When we were younger, we could eat anything and be fine. But as we age, our bodies produce fewer enzymes, and that same familiar food becomes heavy, causing gas. So what can you do? If we lack digestive enzymes, we will inevitably experience bloating after every meal. Enzymes initiate the breakdown of carbohydrates into glucose, proteins, and amino acids, and fats into triglycerides, breaking them down into forms that our cells can absorb and utilize. This process, known as fermentation, begins in the mouth and continues throughout the gastrointestinal tract. It is a long and complex process. An enzyme deficiency can occur for various reasons. If you feel that bloating is caused by a lack of enzymes, it is both possible and beneficial to take enzyme supplements on a regular basis, but under one condition. They must come from plant-based sources. Animal-derived enzymes should not be taken long-term, as they may interfere with the body's own enzyme production. In contrast, plant enzymes support digestion with every meal and help prevent gas formation during eating. If gas is caused by a lack of enzymes, the solution is simple. Take enzymes. One of our experts in a video about the pancreas explained that for older adults, taking enzymes long-term can be perfectly normal. Watch that video. It'll help you understand that regular enzyme use is nothing to fear. But here's one important tip. Choose plant-based enzymes. Animal-based enzymes are recognized by the body as its own, and if taken regularly, they can cause the body to stop producing its natural enzymes, such as amylase, lipase, and protease, which are essential for breaking down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. In contrast, plant-based enzymes are perceived by the body as food. These include bromelain from pineapple, pectin from apples, and inulin from chicory. They can be consumed regularly and safely. Most important, they help break down food effectively, supporting digestion without disrupting the body's natural enzymatic functions. Still, taking enzymes should always be a decision made together with your doctor, and only if your gas is truly due to enzyme deficiency. Please confirm this with a proper checkup and lab tests. If you want to check whether your body produces enough of its own enzymes, the simplest option is to do a swab test. However, since many enzymes are produced in the stomach, reaching that area for direct analysis can be an unpleasant procedure. That's why I recommend a more accessible method. Perform a breakdown products test. In other words, analyze your stool and urine. These tests can show how well proteins have been broken down, giving us a clear indication of how efficiently your enzymes are working. But even if your enzymes are functioning well, it's important to know which foods are easily digested after the age of 60 and which ones your digestive system struggles with. After all, the body changes every year. As the saying goes, you can't run from aging, and we're not suggesting that you run. We're suggesting that you enjoy your silver years in good health, with proper digestion and no excess gas. What does it take to achieve that? How can you live long and gas-free? When it comes to nutrition, focus on light and easy-to-digest foods, such as boiled or baked vegetables, lean proteins, and fermented dairy products. They're not only nutritious, but they also help avoid unpleasant bloating. Listen to your body and choose what truly benefits you. And while it's okay for older adults to take digestive enzymes regularly, even this support won't guarantee perfect digestion if you're combining incompatible foods. Let's discuss that a little more now. We've looked into all the nuances of food combining to reduce gas. There's a food combining method that divides foods into compatible, semi-compatible, and incompatible categories. The idea is that some foods are best digested separately, and combining them can cause digestive issues, and as a result, gas and bloating. For example, combining carbohydrates and proteins is not recommended. That means your favorite meat and potatoes should not be eaten together. Food combining is quite popular among those who want to improve their health and well-being. So what does our expert have to say about it? Ultimately, the quality of food plays a crucial role. If we avoid refined products made from fragmented or unclear ingredients and instead choose whole foods that contain fiber, we nourish our gut microbiota, and this in turn helps reduce bloating. When we also take probiotics, consume fermented foods, or use supplements to support our gut health, we create an environment where pathogenic bacteria are suppressed and healthy microbiota thrive. And such a well-balanced system, even when we combine proteins, fats, and carbohydrates in one meal, bloating is unlikely to occur. Food quality matters more than food compatibility. Food combining became well known thanks to some doctors who believed that the right combinations of foods helps the body digest better and absorb more nutrients. However, this approach is not scientifically proven. Still, many people who try it say it makes them feel lighter and more energetic. What do you think about food combining? Does it make sense to you? Write your thoughts in the comments right now. Just remember, every body is different, and what works for one person may not work for another. Even foods that commonly cause gas might affect one person but not another. That's why we recommend keeping a food journal and writing down what you ate and how your digestive system reacted. Did you feel gassy or bloated or not? To make your journal useful for your doctor, note not only what you ate, but also when you ate it and when symptoms appeared. That way, you can identify the foods that cause issues. For example, many people experience bloating after eating legumes or cabbage. Garlic and onions, especially with bread, also often lead to discomfort. Or maybe you eat too many sweets and drink soda. Don't eat any of that. Then maybe your problem is with dairy products. Dairy and fermented dairy products contain lactose, a sugar composed of 2 molecules. It takes a bit longer to break down than glucose, but not as long as complex carbohydrates like starch. Milk also contains casein, a unique type of protein. Lactose and casein tend to conflict with each other during digestion, which makes bloating almost inevitable, not only in old age, but even after age 30, when metabolism naturally begins to slow down. There is a key difference between milk and fermented dairy products. Fermented options like kefir contain probiotics, which help maintain a healthy gut microbiome. So when comparing milk to kefir, kefir is generally the better choice. It supports digestion and provides nourishment for beneficial bacteria. Timing also matters. Drinking kefir in the first half of the day usually does not interfere with digestion, but having it in the evening may cause bloating for some people. That's why it's important to monitor your personal reaction to each product. You don't have to eliminate all dairy, but it's a good idea to cut out liquid dairy products and keep aged cheese, such as Parmesan, which are rich in natural enzymes. These types of cheese are often better tolerated and easier to digest in older age. Older adults also tend to have a harder time digesting fiber, even though it's generally considered good for digestion and health. Too much fiber can actually cause gas. Take fruits, for example. They're full of fiber. Some dietitians recommend eating fruit as a snack to avoid gas. Others say fruit should only be eaten after meals, not on its own. So what are we supposed to do? The first rule for fruit consumption is no more than 300 to 400 grams per day. That's about 2 large apples. The second rule is to eat fruit before your main meal, and ideally in the first half of the day. For example, eat an apple before breakfast, then continue with your meal, not after it. Why? Fruit, such as an apple, contains fructose, which is digested very quickly. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to break it down completely. But if you eat something protein-rich first, like chicken, that animal protein will take several hours to digest. If you then eat fruit after that protein, the fruit ends up sitting in the stomach on top of undigested food, which leads to fermentation in the gut and results in bloating. So, simply reversing the order in which you eat your food can be a smart solution. If you enjoy fruit, have it before a meal. Your digestion will thank you. Here's an interesting fact. Normal gas has no odor. So why does it sometimes smell like rotten eggs or cabbage? Why do gases smell? And how can you stop that smell? This happens because fermentation begins and food doesn't go through all the natural stages of breakdown as nature intended. A disruption occurs at one of the digestive phases. Maybe we didn't chew thoroughly enough, or perhaps our stomach acidity is too low, which means key enzymes like lipase, protease, and amylase don't fully break down the food. Or the issue could lie in the small intestine, where inflammatory processes may be preventing proper absorption and digestion. In any case, the digestive system isn't functioning as it should, and that's what leads to fermentation, gas, and discomfort. Bad odor often occurs when you eat a lot of animal products and not enough vegetables. To avoid smelly gas, my gastroenterologist recommends eating a balanced diet and drinking infusions of chamomile, mint, or lemon balm between meals, 1/3 of a cup 3 times a day. We've covered food. Now let's talk about sleep. Not sure how sleep and gas are related? After all, you don't eat in your sleep, right? Well, there is a connection. First, most gas is actually released during sleep because we are fully relaxed and not consciously controlling it. Second, some experts say that lack of sleep is one of the causes of bloating and gas. Really? Sounds hard to believe. Is it true that sleep deprivation causes gas? The first thing we need to remember is that our intestines are surrounded by an extensive network of neurons. If we are constantly nervous or tense, this tension is mirrored in the gut. The smooth muscles of the intestines become constricted, preventing food from moving through the digestive tract as nature intended. Sleep deprivation is one of the main reasons we experience gastrointestinal issues. When we get quality sleep, especially during the key hours from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., the body produces essential hormones that help regulate hunger and satiety. This balance allows us to know when to eat and when to stop. But after a poor night's sleep, self-control becomes nearly impossible. This isn't about willpower. It's because the hormonal system isn't functioning properly. As a result, we crave sugary and fatty foods to compensate for energy loss, which puts a heavy burden on the digestive system. Every spike in fast-acting sugars fuels the growth of pathogenic gut flora. Yeasts, mold, and candida begin to flourish in the body, a major contributor to bloating and gas. Without proper rest, there's no chance for a healthy digestive system. That's why it's crucial to get enough sleep and take active steps to care for yourself, including managing stress in the moment, especially when you feel physically or emotionally tense. Stress and lack of sleep really can slow down intestinal motility or trigger spasms. That leads to gas buildup. This is why symptoms often get worse before important events. And if you already have poor gut microbiota, your belly can feel bloated even without stress. Look, you probably know your gut contains both good and bad bacteria. But did you know that beneficial bacteria like lactobacilli and bifidobacteria should make up 85% of your gut flora? The remaining 15% are less helpful or even harmful. When this balance shifts even slightly and bad bacteria increase, gas and bloating appear. So how do you know if your microbiota is imbalanced? What tests should you get for chronic gas? The simplest test we can do to assess digestive health is a stool analysis. It can reveal various causes of gas and bloating. For example, gas may result from physical pressure caused by growths, such as cysts or tumors in the intestines. These can interfere with digestion and disrupt the balance of the gut microbiota. Another valuable aspect of the test is the ability to analyze the specific bacterial strains present in your gut. If certain beneficial strains are missing, this allows for a targeted approach using bacteriophages or specific probiotics instead of randomly taking general supplements. In other words, you won't be taking just any probiotic, but rather the exact strains your body needs based on real test results. This type of analysis is something everyone should do at least once in their life. It offers a personalized blueprint for restoring gut health and resolving issues like chronic gas and discomfort. If you're eating right, but gas is still a problem, it might be time to do a gut bacterial overgrowth test. This test is available in clinics. You'll be asked to breathe into a special device before and after drinking a solution of glucose or lactulose, a sugary syrup used for treating constipation and improving gut function. If your intestines have bacterial overgrowth, the device will detect elevated levels of hydrogen or methane. Right now, this is the most accurate way to find out whether your microbiota is out of balance. Interestingly, an experienced doctor can tell what's wrong with you just by looking at your tongue. Doctors in Eastern medicine have mastered this skill. In fact, in traditional Eastern medicine, the tongue is considered a kind of map of the digestive system's health. Take a look at your tongue. If your tongue is coated with a white film, it could indicate intestinal stagnation or a yeast imbalance. A yellow coating signals possible issues with the liver or gallbladder, and deep cracks on the tongue might point to a lack of digestive enzymes. So the tongue is truly an indicator of your overall health. If you notice any changes in its color or texture, pay attention, and be sure to mention it to your doctor during your visit. And now, how should you prepare for a doctor's appointment when the problem is something as delicate as gas? What should you remember to mention to ensure a correct diagnosis? Our expert explains. Before visiting a doctor, I strongly recommend keeping a food diary. Most of us don't pay close attention to our eating habits, but conducting your own simple observation of food behavior can provide invaluable insight to the specialist who will be helping you. Your eating style directly affects how your intestines feel and function, and it is your nutritional hygiene, how, what, and when you eat, that determines the well-being of your gut microbiota. This is one of the most important steps you can take to help a healthcare professional accurately assess your condition and recommend effective treatment. By the way, chronic gas, not occasional but constant, may indicate a serious condition after age 60. Which one? Let's hear from our expert. If bloating and excessive gas have been present for years, this is a strong and consistent indication of an inflammatory process within the gastrointestinal tract, starting from gastritis and potentially leading to more serious issues such as damage to the walls of the colon. This could include conditions like hemorrhoids or anal fissures, which should not be ignored. Secondly, if we're talking about mucosal damage, there's also a possibility of abnormal growths, including cysts or tumors. Chronic gas almost always points to some kind of disruption in the gut microbiota and intestinal epithelium. That's why it is critical to investigate thoroughly what's happening inside. One of the most common root causes of persistent bloating is pancreatitis. When the pancreas doesn't produce enough enzymes, food remains undigested, placing enormous stress on the transition area between the small and large intestines. Instead of being absorbed into the bloodstream in properly broken down molecules, the food stays in large, undigested clumps that move slowly through the intestines. This not only burdens the microbiota, but also stimulates the growth of pathogenic bacteria, leads to constipation, and, unsurprisingly, causes a persistent feeling of discomfort, heaviness, and even mood issues. For all of these reasons, any GI-related complaints must be addressed promptly and effectively. The longer they're left unresolved, the more deeply rooted and complex the problems may become. If you don't have a serious medical issue and your gas is caused by diet and poor digestion, then home remedies might be very helpful for you. Let's take a look at the most effective natural remedies for bloating. We conducted a poll and found that the top remedies, according to popular opinion, are fennel and dill. To make a dill infusion, use 1 tablespoon of dry dill seeds and steep in half a liter of boiling water. Let it sit for 30 minutes. It's recommended to drink this infusion 3 times a day before meals. After meals, it's best to drink fennel and mint tea. Just mix 1 teaspoon each of fennel seeds and dried mint and pour over a cup of boiling water. This tea can also be enjoyed before bedtime as it has a calming effect. Want to know how people in the East deal with gas? Remember how I mentioned chewing gum can cause gas? In the East, instead of gum, people chew sesame seeds after meals. It's believed that sesame improves digestion and prevents gas. There are even studies suggesting that sesame helps neutralize stomach acid and improves nutrient absorption. Another Eastern remedy for gas is to drink ginger tea before meals. Fresh ginger is widely used in Eastern medicine to boost digestion and reduce gas, and for good reason. Let's take a look. Ginger contains active compounds that help relax intestinal muscles and speed up digestion. This reduces the chance of gas forming and helps release it if it does. Making ginger tea is easy. Steep 1 teaspoon of grated fresh ginger in a cup of boiling water. Let it sit for 15 minutes. You can add lemon to taste. it's best to drink this tea 20 to 30 minutes before meals. That's it for today. Subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Your support truly motivates and encourages us. And if you'd like to share your experience or join us as an expert contributor, we welcome you to our channel. Wishing you health and longevity.